Hello, everybody.
Hi.
We are here with Genesis Saul with Cosmic Chats. Genesis is a comedian, very talented, and also producer. She is the founder of Witty Titties.
Oh yeah.
And does shows down at the Haven. Is that what it's called? The Haven?
Yeah. Comedy at the Haven in Anaheim. That's the one.
At the Haven. Although maybe after your performances, it should really be called the Heaven.
Oh, girl. Oh, I didn't know where you were going with that, and it got me. Thank you.
Those of you who are new, just joining us, you'll see there's a little flyer here. This is the ebook, Vedic Meditation Stories. It is the only publication with true stories from people who learned this practice of meditation and it changed their life. You can get it for free if you have unlimited Amazon Kindle right now, and any page you turn gets a credit towards the nonprofit, so big shout out for that.
Oh,
And we're gonna thank you.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yes,
Also, free is the best price. So
it is, but you see, you have to understand that karmically nothing is free.
Ooh. All right, I'm gonna check my karma points.
Okay, so we're gonna be doing Genesis karma points during this particular chat. And the first thing I'd like to ask you though is, how would you describe the taste of a banana to someone who's never eaten one?
Phallic.
Yes. This is when I have to remind myself to tell the talent we gotta keep it clean for YouTube. Okay, moving on. So next question is, apart from right now, when did you have your first existential life crisis as a child?
Oh man. I thought of okay. I've always been a little like too self-aware. I think self-aware to the point of detriment. Where I remember even just being in as a kid, like in Sunday school, I was very much a ask why sort of person, very much hey, so this is what's up in this book, and those are the rules. And it's like, but why? And wait, that doesn't make sense. So then if this happened, like I was that kid. And so I think ever since I was young, I always kind of questioned authority. Like I definitely have an issue with authority, and not in the sense
A
of like,
comedian that has an issue with authority.
I know, what a cliche. I know it, not in the sense of like necessarily like, I can't ever have a job necessarily, but it's just, I don't know, if people are in charge, I don't like being told what to do, dang it.
So this is why you produce your own shows, to tell other people what to do.
I love telling other people what to do. I am what? A hypocrite. That's right.
So do you remember the first time you were at school and were thinking, but why are we doing this?
I think definitely I was one of those obnoxious kids who were like, we're never going to use math. I was definitely one of those kids where I was just like, I knew I had like a very strong sense of self, in the sense of like, I know I don't need to know trigonometry and I'm gonna be fine. Like I just knew that from a very young age, where I'm like, I just know. I know what I'm gonna do in life, and it's not this. It's not geometry. The only time I'm gonna use geometry is when I'm playing like billiards. Like that's the only time.
And how successful has that been?
You know what? I cannot hustle anyone at a pool bar, so not great. It's not going great, Paula.
I was going to say, it really is only beneficial if you are going to hustle someone.
I know. Can I just say though, like, this is how I learned how to play pool. I was in Venezuela, so my mom is from Venezuela, and we were staying at a hotel, and there happened to be like two Russian guys who were also staying at the hotel, and they had and in the lobby they had a pool table. They had a couple pool tables, and so I would just like hang out there all day, like, because I liked playing, but I wasn't like great at it. and then and then these guys would play at the table next to my table. There were two. And then they just saw me like struggle, like I was on the struggle bus real hard. and then this one man, he looked like if you've ever seen like Parks and Rec, he looked like a Russian Ron Swanson. So he like just came up to me and he was just like that. And then he just like taught me how to play pool. And he didn't speak Spanish. I didn't speak Russian. He didn't even know English. We just kind of like
we just like grunt the angles.
We grunted angles at each other. And then I would like, but it was so satisfying because like whenever I would like sink a ball in, he was like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah. So geometry, it all comes back around.
I have often wondered why we don't learn geometry by the pool table.
It would be so much fun. Like, where is like that Mrs. Frizzle type of like teacher who's like, let's go to the rec center and learn about geometry. Like, where is she? Who is that teacher? Where are they?
Right. Yes, and then you could do so-called TOA. You can do all of geometry. You could do all of that there. And everyone would be really good at pool or billiards and maybe snooker.
I don't know what that is.
What? Snooker?
What is snooker?
What snooker is? Okay, so
what? Is this embarrassing? Oh my gosh.
No, it just means you're not English.
Oh, well, I know that. I know that so hard. I hate waiting in line.
Well, it's a queue, first of all.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. I don't know how to queue.
Those of you who are enjoying Genesis right now, please pop it down in the comments and share your love. And a reminder, if you also have a YouTube channel that you're trying to build up, we want to create a community. So put down if you've subscribed, and we will go over to your channel and write a little note and subscribe to you guys. So please like, subscribe, share if you can. I know it's annoying. Everyone talks about it, but we do want to get up to those nice numbers to be able to help more donations go through to the nonprofit, because we can't receive any until it's over 1,000.
We're so close. Yes.
So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Was there a situation where you found that you asked why too much and it was becoming a detriment?
It's definitely had a lot of like adults. I remember like a lot of adults, like I would get in trouble, you know, they'd get frustrated with me. And definitely, I don't think necessarily knowing the truth is always the most healing thing. I know it's I don't know if that's, you know, a little, I don't know, unorthodox, but I think sometimes asking too much why will lead you to an answer you maybe didn't want to know. And that
Do you have an example of that happened to you?
I think just when it comes to trauma, and you know, like the first thing that comes to mind is I had a boyfriend who cheated on me. And I had this weird conflicting thing where I wanted to know everything and I didn't want to know anything. And it was a really big, like, that breakup, like, or that breakup was so crucial to me in the sense of I definitely felt myself not being myself. Like, I turned into this jealous, insecure, needy, like weird glob of emotions that I just didn't know how to handle healthily. And he was toxic, and then that made me toxic. And so then I think in the question of why, I made it, I very much went into like the toxic part of needing to know and made it like I like essentially like stalked my own boyfriend essentially, and like went into his, you know, passwords and like saw the chats he was having with the other girl and things like that. So
it's kind of like Alanis Morissette on crack.
Yes, he was my Dave Coulier, and cut it out.
Forget the jagged little pill. You just took a sword.
and just went, no. I must know
Everything.
everything. And I really didn't. I think that was the thing. It was just like the moment I was just like, I don't like the moment I kind of just cut it off and I'm like, I just don't need to know. I think it was easier. I very much subscribe to the out of sight, out of mind mentality. Now that could be because I have ADHD and that's like an actual thing.
Shiny, sparkly thing over there.
What was that? A squirrel? I love squirrels. I'm gonna go chase them.
Squirrel not home. Squirrel not home.
But yeah, so I think I don't know if that answers the question, but that's the first thing that came to mind. Where
And
like,
if you don't mind saying, when this happened, how old were you?
I was pretty young. Like we were living together. We only lived together 3 months, but it was a big deal because I'm my opinion on living with a partner is like, you better, if you're gonna move in and take that step, you better be ready for 3 outcomes. You guys are either gonna get married, you're gonna get broken up, or one of you guys is gonna die.
Pretty much, isn't that how it is with every relationship?
Exactly. But I think that was
whether you live with them or not.
That's true. That is true. But I think for me, I very much love living in the limbo of like, well, if we're not together, then we'll just never be together and we don't have to worry about being married or broken up. And it's a toxic thing that I'm trying to like move on past. But it was definitely what my mentality was when I was 19, right?
Yes, so that is young, and that absolutely, not that anyone who is older is still, people can be going through relationships for a long time in life, right? So that sounds to me that you learned as a result of going in through that toxicity, right? So do you still have the mindset of, I will not get truly invested in something because if it doesn't work out, the hurt is too much to bear?
Ooh, definitely. I have an issue with vulnerability for sure. And it's something that I'm trying to work on, but it's really hard to, I definitely struggle with pride and just, perceptions of myself. And sometimes I have to just really keep myself in check. I don't know if I do a great job of it, but again, I'm a self-aware person. But the thing about self-awareness is that it doesn't fix the problem. You just know that you have a problem.
Right. So it can be, as it is with a lot of people, becoming self-aware or talking it out is great for analysis and becoming aware. But then how do we move through that?
That is the $1 million question.
Right. So when we have the meditation, you see the ebook there, many people have found that they've already done so much work on themselves. They're very aware of it. They know what it is. But the body has not quite released that stress. And this is because the body doesn't lie. The body holds what's happened before, maybe in utero, down the DNA line, but it's never given a place to release this because we're either too busy telling us where we need to go, what we need to do, right? Or when we actually sit down to simply just close our eyes, even the mind's chatter is so vast. Oh, can't do that. Got to be busy, got to be doing something.
Yeah.
But with this particular practice, we sit comfortably with our back supported. Because we're somewhat upright, the mind goes down, but we don't go down to sleep. But we get to a place where we can get deep rest. I believe the study said something like 2 to 5 times more deep rest than sleep.
Oh, dang.
Because we're in a state where we're sitting somewhat upright in a relaxed place. Now, when that happens, the body can throw off. That's me with a ball.
Is that how you throw balls? Is it just like,
apparently that's how I do them today. And again, I'm throwing them. I'm not. Oh my gosh, what did I just do?
I didn't do anything. You didn't want to, Paula.
So That leads me to if you were to go and check out my personal IG on Paula Jane Newman and catch my story today about a certain product that keeps following me to be an influencer, and it's ridiculous. We'll talk about it in part 2. But the idea is that the body can then throw off some of this stress. And I have met individuals who've had a traumatic experience. They've come to learn the meditation, and on the second day said, I felt it come up and out of my body.
Oh my God.
Because they were ready. They'd done all that work, right? Now, when we have primal trauma, which really puts an imprint on a nervous system, it's very hard for that to just come up and out, right? And we have to be gentle with ourselves, because it can take a while, because that imprint was when we were younger. But as you're self-aware, it means that, oh, I'm going down that. I can feel that happening, getting more distance, like being the witness of oneself. I feel myself responding to this soul as if they were, let's say it was an uncle who was abusive, as if they were my uncle, but yet I actually know they're not. So I need to talk to that person as if they are simply this person in front of me. And that's why people keep saying, why does the same person keep coming up in my life over and over and over again? That's because, I hate the word let's have a lesson, but that's because that trauma or whatever is in us, we haven't worked it out yet. And when we work it out, yes, they may still show up, but it won't bother us.
For sure. Yeah,
it'll just move through, and this is why when people go into MRIs, all bets are off with a closed machine. It's because so many people had hard times coming out of the passage. Right. These are deep scars that go within us, and people know the term of PTSD, and meditation has been something that's helped people, but being gentle on ourselves and understanding these are deep root pressures. And then I guess it gets to another point, right? Vulnerability. Like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen to you?
I think it's that idea of rejection. Like, I think that's why vulnerability is so hard, because if you can hide behind either bravado or pride or appearances or whatever, then if they reject you, it's like, well, they rejected that, but if you are true to yourself and you have no walls and nothing, and it's truly just like little baby tiny you, just like, do you like this? And they're like, no, then you don't know how to. I think it's the fear of you won't know how to recover from that, or that something is then, if someone can reject you at your most vulnerable, then you are in the wrong, or there is something inherently wrong with you. I think that is the fear.
There you go. So that's the lie that you bought, I bought, everyone has. Then the lie, that story is true, right? So we all have our own story. And until we start to work through it, the process of, oh, here's another example to prove that, right? Oh, that story is true. And what's ironic is the dichotomy of being a comedian, having to be vulnerable and be in the moment to tell the joke or acknowledge the individual who's not paying attention to you, who's creating trouble.
Right.
That is opening yourself up to either it's a 5-minute, 30-minute, hour of pure rejection. And yet some of the most closed off people, or, I work with a lot of wanting to help with wellness and mental health in the field of comedy. It's like dripping with the need. And yet part of being really successful is being able to be vulnerable on stage.
Yeah. It's this weird dichotomy of like, to be truly successful, however you want to measure success, but in this case, if the definition of success is to be famous, right? Then it's this weird dichotomy of you have to be vulnerable enough for people to connect with you, right? Because that is what's in right now. Maybe a couple, decades ago in comedy, it wasn't necessarily like, being vulnerable wasn't necessarily the most sought after thing, but I think now that's what audiences connect to. And so you have to be vulnerable, but then you can't be so vulnerable or open that you can't like you have to be able to harden yourself to the inevitable, people who are going to be rude to you at a show, or rude to you in the comments, or rude to you wherever, either from the industry or from like consumers and audiences and fans. So I think it's this weird like shift between being vulnerable but never being open, if that makes sense.
Yes, and I would just do one clarification, and this is only me,
Yeah.
that even if someone does become famous not necessarily being what I would put for success.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, that there are, and I've had some beautiful guests here, all acknowledge the game of the entertainment industry, that there are people who are super, super talented, who can hardly make a living, and there are people who are not super, super talented and do extremely well financially, or we call that the third D. We're here on the third D, and everyone is here having their own experience for what they need to learn or have in life. And if you need to get the experience that money won't fix your soul in a way, then that will be what will happen.
Yeah, wish I could just throw money at it, be like, hey guys, I feel like I'm a bad person, but what if I paid you $1,000 like,
to just follow me around and
just to like let me know, like, no, you've got a beautiful soul and you're a good person and people love you, thank you.
Ideally, that's what friends are.
Oh, is that what they are? Oh, I thought they were
ideally. And if you want to show your love and how much you are a friend of Genesis, please put it down in the comments. We're going to have all her links in the description.
I need validation, you guys.
Yeah, she is going to be in part 2, where we're going to have a little bit more fun frolics with
I like frolicking and I like fun. And I have to say, I know part 1 is a bit more deep, but I think it's just as fun, if not more. Okay, I'm just saying.
And she's checked out the other videos.
Just saying. I'm just saying, I like part 1s.
All right. Well, what we'll do is maybe we'll do not a part 2, but we'll do a prequel.
Oh, I like that.
Just for you. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. We hope that you'll subscribe and follow, and we will see you in part 2, which will drop soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.